sake. A cup has one job. Keep the liquid inside the container. That's the one job that a cup does. Howdy folks, so it's time for another drive with me video. Today is Monday. I'm going to be driving from Brighton to Eastbourne. Come and join me as I talk various subjects. As always in my drive with me videos, I'll put timestamps down below, so if there's a specific topic you want to skip forward to, do so. I'll be covering many topics today. I'll be talking about various videos I've done this week. The video that I've done on the Monarchy has quite a lot of comments on and difference of opinion, so I'm going to lay down my real opinion on the Monarchy. I'm going to talk Michael Gove. I don't know if any of you guys saw my silly Michael Gove video that I've done this week.
Calm down, an emergency budget. Calm down, an emergency budget.
I'm going to talk Lee Anderson, food banks. I'm going to talk various other things or anything else that happens to pop into my head as we're driving along. But first, I just want to talk about the live stream that I've done yesterday. It wasn't that great. I'm sorry, guys. I was trialing something. I wanted to see if I could do something and if it would work, and it didn't really work. But I appreciate all you guys that came along for the live stream. It ended up being a bit of a shoddy affair. Basically, those of you that didn't see, I've been trying to find a way to do like a good old-fashioned plain, just like call-in show live stream. You know, like people have been doing for many years on radio stations. You call up, you want to chat about something, we chat about something. But I've just been finding it so difficult to find a way. I've been flirting with so many different ideas for trying to achieve this. I'm thinking about screen sharing as I live stream and just have WhatsApp calls come through or FaceTime calls, and I found that didn't really work. And I finally found something where I posted a link down below that hopefully people could get on board with, but the sound quality was just terrible and it just didn't really work. Everyone in the comments was saying, you know, use headphones, everyone's got to use headphones, but then if I, you know, it defeats the object of the accessibility of the whole thing, really. I just want it to be easy, like a phone call, you know, just call in and chat. I don't want there to be a need for everyone to need really good headphones and, you know, good equipment and stuff like that. But, you know, I'll flirt with the idea. I'll probably try and test it. But that's all yesterday. It was a test to see if it'll work, and it didn't work. I've got to put my sunglasses on. Only sun's coming up. But like I say, I appreciate everyone that joined. There was a bit of conversation there just in the chat, which was always good with you guys. The two phone calls that I did have, George, if you're watching this one, bud, I'd love to be able to discuss what you were trying to discuss, but the sound quality was just terrible. I just couldn't hear a single thing you were saying, unfortunately. Arnold, a long time subscriber from Germany, I got what you were trying to say, right? You wanted to have a conversation about PR, but the sound quality just wasn't good in the chat. Everyone was saying echo, it wasn't good, so unfortunately we just had to cut the call. But I think I know what you were trying to say. You were basically trying to say, why have we not implemented a proportional representation voting system in this country? Which is a question we get all the time. It's something that people, the community as a whole, the people that watch my videos and many other videos have been calling out for a long time. And basically, to answer your question, but it's just not enough people know about it. That's the problem in this country. Your people that are really into politics know about it and realise that our first past the post voting system is archaic and needs to go, and it's terrible. But the common person does not have a clue. And I tried to mention in the chat that I don't understand why the smaller parties are not banging on about this every single time they get on TV, every single time they're in an interview. I don't know why they're not throwing around stats like the Tory party right now have got an 80-seat majority, but only 40% of people voted for them. You know, these are the sort of stats that need to be pushed out there that normal folk that are not into politics don't know. They don't realise this thing. They just vote. The Tories won. Okay, the Tories won. You know, they must be the most popular party. Well, no, they're not. They're not the most popular party, and people just don't know, and it's just not publicised, and it's not a juicy topic. You know, it's not a topic that average person that's not into politics is going to get excited about when you start talking about it. But the only way we're going to implement it is if all the smaller parties just at every opportunity, like I say, just talk about it in every single interview they just talk about this subject. The Green Party, the Lib Dems. Does it help the SNP? I guess it doesn't really, does it? I mean, they got their own thing going on, but definitely the Greens and the Lib Dems, they need to be banging these stats through every single day. The other stats, like the cost, I forget the actual number, but the core number of people's votes that do not count in the first past the post system. The example is when you've got a Tory seat in Cornwall or whatever that wins by 32,000 votes, but then you've got 32,000 votes, 20,000 Labour votes that are just null and void. You know, they don't make any difference. Our one Green Party MP that we have in this country, there's about 2 million people that vote for the Green Party, and they get one MP. And like I say, 30,000 votes down in Cornwall gets you one Conservative MP. You know, these stats, they need to be thrown out. I can't think of the stat in my head right now, which is frustrating me. But that core number, you know, it's millions. It's millions of votes that just do not matter, that do not count, do not have any sway. Basically, those million odd people just might as well have not turned up, and the result would have been exactly the same. It's a stupid system, and you know, people they just don't know. The average person that's trying to figure out how they're going to put lunch boxes together for the kids next week are not thinking about proportional representation. They're just not. So yeah, it's the only possible way is if Labour introduce it. If Labour think that they really need it to get in power, and at the moment with what's going on with the Tory party and how unpopular they are, they probably don't necessarily need proportional representation. Maybe before all the scandal and corruption that's come out of the Tories recently, they may have been in favour of trying to introduce PR, but it's a catch-22 anyway, because they'd have to get in power to put that forward, and then if they're in power, they're not going to want to put it forward, are they? You know, we know parties break manifesto pledges all the time. I think Labour would probably be willing to do that. I mean, they could put it in their manifesto now, get into power, and think, I don't think we're going to do that one. It depends. It depends how. That's the thing. It depends how much people care about it and the popular thing, and just getting the point across to the whole public that first past the post is terrible. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. A little bit better than on the live stream. But going back to the live stream, I will, if I can't do what I want to do with this phone-in thing, then I'll start doing just normal Q&A style live streams. I will start doing that often, but I just haven't done one for ages because I really wanted to try and implement this, but it might not be possible. We'll see whether it's possible. But thanks for everyone that did show up. I have deleted the live stream, so you can't go back and watch it because it's not good. Basically, it's not very good. So there's no point. There's no point in watching it. Right, I'm gonna have a swig of coffee as we come into beautiful Peacehaven along the coast here. Oh, for fuck's sake! A cup has one job. One job. Keep the liquid inside the container. That's the one job that a cup does. That's all it needs to do, is just keep the liquid inside, and that one's just leaked all over me. That's the bloody point. So yeah, this is the lovely beautiful town of Peacehaven we're coming through now. I've got some lovely, it's not quite the White Cliffs of Dover, but we do have some nice white cliffs along here which are really, really beautiful. It's really nice to have a nice walk along the seafront there. Me and Mrs. Van Man vacate the carvery that we just passed quite often, maybe a couple of times a month, because it's super cheap and it's easy to get to. So yeah, next topic. I want to talk about the video that I just done about the monarchy. I got a lot of comments, more comments than I usually get in most videos. Do you want to pop out, mate? Where you going? Do you want to? Oh, you turning? Yeah. No, one of you? Yeah. You can do it, mate. You can do it. There's nothing coming. Well, there is now. And that bike just. There we go. But yeah, my video recently. There was a lot of to and fro in the comments, pro-monarchy, pro-republic, and, you know, I get both sides of the argument, I really do. The main point of the video, the main thing that I was trying to portray in that video, I don't know whether you've seen it, if you haven't, go watch it after this one, I'll skip forward and go watch it later. But the main message I was trying to portray is just the pure hypocrisy of a government Queen speech where they're talking about easing the burden for families, easing the burden of the cost of living crisis from a golden throne, and all the hoo-ha and the ceremony and the crown coming out on the pillow and the black rod. A couple of people put a very poignant comment, actually, but saying that they like all this the black rod ceremony stuff. It's just the government to blame. That it seems so hypocritical right now because the government is so terrible, and it's a good point. But I just can't stand the hypocrisy of it all. When people are struggling, like I just say, that single mum that's trying to figure out how she's going to get her lunchboxes for her kids next week, turns on the news and has got Prince Charles sitting in a golden throne, you know, telling how the government are going to help you out. It's just bollocks, isn't it? It's bollocks. It's hypocritical. But overall, I'm not anti-monarchy for a few reasons. First of all, I mean, the cost and hassle of changing it now. It's almost like a Brexit argument, isn't it? It's one of the arguments against Brexit is the amount of cost to change everything. You know, is there any point? You know, it would just cost so much money to change everything round. Is there any point in doing it? Not really. And I'd just be looking for a massive scale back, really. You know, kind of like what they do in Denmark, and, you know, I think the Dutch have a massively scaled back monarchy compared to ours. You know, we just don't need so much. I mean, everyone apart from Queenie, as far as I'm concerned, can go get a normal job. And no, like, lift up, because they're, you know, they don't get to go to private school and education and stuff like that just because they're the Queen's son, or, you know, the Queen's grandson or whatever. No, they go to normal school. They're just normal kids. You know, like, someone goes to public school with Wayne Rooney's son or something. You know, there's someone, everyone knows about them, who they are, but they're still at public school. You know, that's what it should be. It should be just about the Queen. And I think all those other properties, Balmoral and all that stuff, that can all be sold off. They don't need that. And I'd even go as far as opening up Buckingham Palace, because obviously the big argument about if you get rid of the monarchy is the tourist thing. And, you know, I see some points of this argument, but then sometimes I just think, are people really going to stop visiting London if the monarchy goes? I don't see it as the greatest argument. But you flip it round the other way, and we'd make even more money if you could actually go into Buckingham Palace. Give Queenie one wing of Buckingham Palace. You know, she can do her thing. She can have one wing, and just open up the whole of Buckingham Palace to the public. Bloody hell, how much money would you make out of that? Get a crown, get a, you know, diamond hat, get that out on display, get all the artworks and stuff like that, all the riches that they've got, put it on display as a museum, charge people to go in. They'll love that. The Americans will love that. Imagine, I mean, that's better, isn't it? Still have all the parades and stuff like that, but then at least that stuff will actually be paid for by the revenue that's coming in from people. You know, basically the royal family should be paid for by themselves. You know, they are famous, so let people in a Buckingham Palace, and that money can go to, you know, keeping it going. The Americans will love that stuff, won't it? And it's double. It's double what you got now. You know, it will encourage people to come to London if they can go visit Buckingham Palace. definitely encourage people. Right, don't leak this time, coffee. I know I've got the lid on. One drop. You've only got one drop. Okay, I think we're good. I think it might have just been a little bit too full. But yeah, what do you guys think? Obviously, massive debate in my last video. That's why I wanted to mention it. I didn't see too many crossover comments. It was either very pro get rid of the monarchy and very pro the monarchy. A lot of people say it's cheaper to keep a monarchy than it is to do a president. A lot of people don't want a president. Boris Johnson, to be honest, just the name doesn't really make too much difference to me. He's still a prick, isn't he? Or whatever. If he's president twat-face Boris or prime minister twat-face Boris, doesn't make too much difference to me. But I suppose it is kind of nice that he still has to go and visit Queenie and bow and do all that stuff. It's nice. But yeah, me taking the piss out of all the traditions in Parliament. I think the person I need to find out is, I'm not going to be able to find that comment. It's lost in all the different comments. But if it was you that did that comment that said, don't take the piss out of the traditions. It's not the traditions' fault. It's the government that we have right now. If that was you, comment below, because that was a really good comment. And it really did make me think. You're right. It is good to have traditions, but just when the country's so hard up, at the moment, and everyone's really struggling, it is a little bit of a rub in the face. But that's the government's fault, and you're right. It's the government's fault. We need to be blaming the government. It's not Blackrod. Good old Blackrod. I'm actually coming around to Blackrod now.
It's Blackrod. Open the door.
Blackrod. It's kind of like she's like a Marvel superhero of Parliament, isn't she? Blackrod's here. It's quite amusing. And also someone mentioned in the comments that it is it actually symbolises the fact that the monarchy are not just allowed to rock up and go into Parliament. No, they have to be invited. So that's why they've shut the door on Blackrod, and Blackrod has to knock. They're like, Blackrod's here, should we let her in? Yes, we'll let her in. It's a load of shit, isn't it? But it is funny. It's amusing, and that was the main thing of my video, really, just to take the piss. It really was. It was just a bit of a piss take on the whole thing. You got to laugh, and that's part and parcel of my philosophy most of the time with most of my videos that I do with the shocking government that we have right now. You got to laugh. You got to laugh, or you will cry. You will indeed cry. Which, I don't know, brings me on to old Govey boy. Did anyone see my little short video that I done, my little remix of Michael Gove this week and his hilarious Scouser accent?
Calm down. An emergency budget. Calm down. An emergency budget.
What's he trying to achieve here, Gove? Because whenever I see stuff like this, politics, they don't just come out and do stuff on the wing, do they? Everything's planned, everything's tightly regulated and planned. And when Gove does something like that, he's doing it for a reason. And the only reason I can come up with it is he's trying to be down with the kids, or he's trying to be. Is he trying to be like Boris Johnson, laugh at him, gaffy sort of thing, trying to get the popular? Because all those Tory MPs, they're all at the moment thinking it could be me. It could be me. If Boris goes down, it could be me next. It could be me. So is that his tactic to try and be funny? To try and win people over? I don't know. But I do love the fact that I like to think of these Tory toff twats. They're always like living like 3 decades in the past, aren't they? He must have like sat around with some of his friends and gone, right, what can we do? What funny thing can we do? Make people like me in the next interview. What do people like? They still like Harry Enfield, don't they? Scousers, calm down, calm down. That's still funny, isn't it? I mean, that will never not be funny, even though it was 30 years ago. That will never not be funny. That's the only thing that I can think of that he's done that for, because he's done it for a reason. Like I say, no, you don't just not. You don't come out with an interview like that off the wing, off the cuff. And if he has, then his like PR person in the back is going, "Go, what the hell are you doing?" Like that. Who's that funny guy that does the YouTube videos, room next door, like him? You know, someone's in the room next door going, "Go, what the hell are you doing?" Harry Enfield hasn't been funny for 30 years. Although actually, that's a bit harsh on Harry Enfield. So some of his sketches have standed the test of time. What's up? Women, know your place.
Women, know your limits.
They've got that old-fashioned black and white 50s sketch where they're all around the dinner table and they're talking about politics, and the woman chips in.
But oh dear, what's this? One of the women is about to embarrass us all. The lady has foolishly attempted to join the conversation with a wild and dangerous opinion of her own.
So yeah, I'll give Harry Enfield that. That one's still funny, but come on, Scousers. They haven't been funny for 30 years. I've got a few Scouser viewers. Let me know in the comments. Is the Scousers funny? Has that ever been funny to you guys? Have you found that offensive? I don't know. Let me know. The old Govey boy. He's had his chance a couple of times, hasn't he, for leader? Did he go when Theresa May and Boris went for it? Did he try and get it both those times? He must have done, because he's one of these pro-Brexit pricks, and all those pro-Brexit pricks, Gove, Patel, they all, well, actually, I don't know about Patel. She's a bigoted. she probably sternly believes in the tighter immigration laws, but definitely Gove. I think he's another one that really doesn't believe in Brexit, but just done it because he thought, just like Boris Johnson, that he can maybe get PM from it. I don't know. Let me know. Here we are, Seaford. The beautiful seaside town of Seaford. Very, very small little town. Very nice town. Quite a posh town. Right, I think the coffee's on point now. Very good, very good. What else did I want to talk about today? Lee Anderson, this prick. He's been on my radar a couple of times, old Lee Anderson. He was the one back during the Euros, wasn't he, last year, that was refused to watch the England team. If they take the knee, I will refuse.
I took a decision, and not just football. I said any sporting event where the competitors or players before the event take the knee, I couldn't support it, because I see it as a divisive symbol. I see it associated with Black Lives Matter.
I was on and off with the taking the knee thing at the beginning. Anyone that's watched some of my early videos would know that, but I did eventually change my mind on it. But this guy, he refused. I will refuse to watch England if they take the knee. Refuse. Dickhead. But yeah, of course, he was the one this week, wasn't he, that was going on about the people going to food banks and treating it like a restaurant, where obviously, I mean, yeah, everyone can make a meal on 30p a day, can't they?
You can see that the brilliant scheme we've got in place, where when people come now for a food parcel, they have to register for a budgeting course and a cooking course. And what we do at the food bank, we show them how to cook cheap and nutritious meals on a budget. We can make a meal for about 30p a day.
How much did they have on Ready Steady Cook? Even Ready Steady Cook had a fiver, didn't they? Something like that. 30p a day. I mean, what is a 30p meal? I mean, obviously standard, like a can of beans, no bread, just a can of beans. You can get a stick of broccoli for 30p, can't you? So that's what he's saying. So basically he's saying, people, don't go to the food bank, just you can live off a stick of broccoli a day. Just have a stick of broccoli. If you're bored of the broccoli Tuesday, have a bag of carrots. You can probably get a bag of carrots for 30p. That's it though. You know, no tea, coffee, no bread, no nothing. Just for the whole day, just a bag of carrots. Wednesday, treat yourself to a can of beans. Thursday, spaghetti hoops. Friday, what else can you get for 30p? The frozen section. No, you can't even get a bag of frozen veg. Like, if you want to mix it up, if you're bored of carrots and you want to get a frozen bag of mixed veg, that's still a quid. It's just bollocks, isn't it? It's just absolute bollocks. And it's just this Tory mentality that I just can't. I've never ever been able to get my head round. Where he's obviously turned up at his food bank. I do believe that. In his speech, he said, "Come down to my food bank in my local." I can't remember his local area. He's like, "Come down to my food bank in my local area. You'll see all the people that are needlessly there, that don't need to be there, that just don't know how to cook, and they're just treating it like a restaurant." So he's gone down there and he just judges these people straight away. He doesn't go down there and think, "Fucking hell, shit, all these people using food banks, there must be something seriously going on. This never used to happen 10, 20 years ago." But he's just gone down there already with the thought in his head that these people shouldn't be there and they're scroungers. Just straight away, he's already got that lined up in his head. Oh, well, these people are obviously scroungers. They're obviously scroungers. And that thought never left his head. And he's just gone there and he's just judged. The whole time he's judged everyone that's there. Oh, these people obviously can't cook. What are they doing? Have these guys never hit hard times in their life? I mean, surely some of these Tory pricks must have. They must have made mistakes in their life. I mean, what's that famous thing where, everyone's like 4 bad decisions away from poverty, or 4 mistakes away from poverty. The boiler breaks, you have to use your savings, and then suddenly you lose your job, and your wife leaves you, you turn to alcohol, and 4 bad things happen, and anyone is 4 bad mistakes or 4 bits of bad luck away from poverty. Has none of this stuff ever happened to these Tory pricks? Have they never had any bad luck in life to actually comprehend what these people are going through? Because it's not easy going to a food bank and admitting that you need help. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a horrible thing to have to do. People are proud. They feel shame about these things. Luckily enough, I haven't had too many times in my life where I've had to feel like that. But I did have one period, probably of about 4 to 5 months, where I was unemployed. I got made redundant. I was unemployed, and I had to sign on and take the check, and it just felt awful. Having to go down the job centre, the shame of having to queue up and just get this check, and just the shame of not being able to work every day, seeing your friends go to work, earn money, be able to go out, because this stigma that they have on people on the dole living the life, they're living the life at the taxpayer's expense. It's no life, mate. It's really not. It's really not. It's no life. You're trying to doss out 30 quid between different food meals and stuff, and you're seeing your friends go out to the cinema. This was my experience of being on the dole for that 4 or 5 months. Just basically having just about enough money for food and the rent, and then just watching your friends just go on holidays, go out for dinner. "Oh, Mark, do you want to come out?" I was like, "I can't. I've got nothing." "Oh, even for a pint." And then you might go out for a pint, they're like, "Oh, I'll give you a pint," but then you just feel shame the whole time you're there. You're like, "I've got not a single pound in my pocket, and I'm down the pub, and I'm just relying on other people to buy me a drink." It's horrible. I'll just interject here. Beautiful Seven Sisters Country Park here in Eastbourne. Absolutely beautiful part of the country. I love going for a walk down there. I need to do one actually, because I haven't been there for a while. Me and Mrs. Van Man, I'll have to go for a nice walk down the country park. But yeah, back to it. It's just you feel such shame, and people that go down to the food banks, they're not thinking, "Oh, well, let's save all our money on fags and go down the food bank." It's not happening. And just this judgment from these Tory pricks straight away. They just judge. They just go there with, I'm trying to think of the word, already in their head. They already have this stigma about the people that are using the food banks, and just utter bollocks. And like I say, I just don't understand how none of these guys have made mistakes in their life. They've never been able to comprehend what these people are going through. They've never made a mistake. They've never hit hard times, ever. I mean, I understand the Eton tough boy Tories, but there are working class Tories there as well, It's not all just Eton toffs. Surely some of these people have hit hard times. It just amazes me. It just really does. And, just the attitudes of the lot of them. Anyone that's poor in a bad situation, it's your own fault. It's your own fault for being there. Oh God, how do you live your life like that with just so much hate? Just so much bigotry and hate in your soul every single day. And these are the pricks that are in charge of us. These are the pricks that we voted in this country. Oh, God. They're just evil. Stop voting them. Stop voting them in. Bloody pricks. Anyway, this is a lovely bit of English countryside. Shame the sun's gone in a bit now though, but this is I do like this journey to Eastbourne along the coast road. I only drive this way to Eastbourne from Brighton because it's cheaper on my battery to drive along here rather than along the dual carriageway on the A27. I don't use as much battery, and it gives me peace of mind because the battery on my van is only 80 miles. I can only do 80 miles. It's about 20 miles to Eastbourne, so obviously I've had other jobs today as well, so if I go on the dual carriageway, it turns that 20 miles there, 20 miles back to about 30 miles there, 30 miles back. That's how much I'll use. But yeah, the electric van, I'm still loving it, absolutely loving it. Costing me £1 a day. I know electric's gone up, but I've had to compromise. I've got the cheap rate from 12 till 5 in the morning where I can charge my van really cheap rate, 4p per kilowatt. But I have had to sacrifice the rest of my household because outside that time it's now fucking expensive. Really expensive. Oh God, I'm not looking forward next month. Next month my electric bill jumps up from 90 quid to 250. Now a lot of that is the electric van, but it's only £1 a day, so really it's only cost 30 quid of that really is only the electric van. The rest of it is just the cost of living. It's hard. I'm feeling it. I'm really starting to feel it. I said at the beginning of the year that I know I'm going to start feeling the bite of this cost of living. It's tough. It's well. I don't want to comprehend. I don't want to try and compare my struggles to people that are really struggling out there. The ones that are having to deal and use food banks. I don't want to compare myself to them at all. But I'm finding it tough. The problem I got is that I've already booked a holiday that was supposed to happen back at the 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic and has been postponed 3 or 4 times. I got a trip to Florida, which I can't wait for. It's going to be great. It's going to be really good. But I could really do without having to think about that spending money I'm going to have to spend on it. I could really do without that right now. I really could. But hey, this is what I'm saying. This is not a bad situation to be in. I'd much rather be worrying about spending money on a holiday to Florida than trying to figure out how I'm going to get the kids' lunchboxes sorted next week. So, I'm not going to complain. What else? There was something else I wanted to talk about today, but I can't think. What did I have? Lee Hansen. I had the live stream, had the Monarchy, had old Govey boy. That's it, yes, that's what I wanted to talk about. Bloody civil servants being laid off. What was it, 90,000? Haven't we got a please let me know if I'm wrong, haven't we got a backlog of passports and stuff like that? These are the people that are being laid off, right? What's a joke? What's a joke? And what did Mog come out with? The classic line. Moggy boy, classic line of we will have to learn to do better with less. You never do better with less, Mog. You never do better with less. You always do worse. Just look at the stats over the last 12 years of Tory government. Look at the police cuts. Look at the fire service cuts. Look at the NHS cuts. It's always worse. It always makes it worse. And then you look at the money that they're spending. They're cutting all these jobs, and all these people have worked so hard over the pandemic. Worked so hard, hung on to their jobs just to be kicked out. Right now, what a kick in the teeth from this government. Seriously, if any of those 90,000 civil servants are thinking of voting Tory in the next election, God help us, because we really have lost it in this country if they still manage to wig round these people to voting for them. But oh God, it never works. And you just look at what the sort of things that these Tories are spending money on instead. I saw in the news, did anyone see that 350 million New York pad that has just been bought so we can have an English diplomat greasing the palms of the Americans for a trade deal? Oh, I mean, I've got no solid evidence whether it's true. I've just got a news article, but come on, it just seems like it would be the sort of thing they do. You know, they would just throw money at anything to make Brexit look good. Anything to make Brexit look good. They don't care how much it costs, how much taxpayers' money they use. As long as Brexit looks good, they'll spend it. And it just seems like something they'll do, doesn't it? They're so desperate for that American trade deal. They really are. And I'm sorry, folks, but I don't think you're going to get it from Biden. Anyway, as it rains, as it pours, we have a lovely view over at Eastbourne there, and I think that's where I'll end the chat because I'm coming close to my destination. As always, thank you so much for your likes, your comments. I really appreciate every single one of you. If you want to thank me, there's a thank button down there. Much appreciated. I really appreciate some of you guys that have already done that so far. That's, you know, really kind of you, really kind of you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, till next time, take care.